All right, final topic today. We're gonna do a quick little Charleston Classic preview. This is one of the many tournaments that begins today when you're watching this on Thursday. It's a decent field. We have Dayton, we have Houston, we have LSU, we have North Texas, we have St. John's, we have Towson, we have Wake Forest, and we have Utah. Which of these first round games are you looking forward to most? And then we'll get to like predictions and who we think is going to
win. So I think that the best game is going to end up being that Utah Wake Forest game. I think that Wake Forest plays kind of a fun style of basketball. Cam Hildreth has been kind of a revelation this year. I mean, he's been putting up some crazy stats. I would have said the Dayton game, but with the Smith injury, it just kind of it dampers it a little bit, and I feel like Dayton's going to kind of struggle going into these games. So I think the Utah Wake Forest one is the one that I'm looking forward to the most, especially if it gets to Wake Forest versus Houston, because I actually like Wake Forest's guards, and I'd like to see those Houston guards play a good set of guards. And I'm not saying that's the best guards that Houston's going to go up against all season, but I think it's a good early season test for them when they have not been tested so far.
Okay. I think that's super fair. I like that answer. Is it weird to say I'm rooting for St. John's here?
Is there a little personal agenda on this?
So I don't know how much we talked about because I was just like over the moon about Michigan, but like one of my things coming out of the St. John's game was that I was actually very impressed with their first half. And I know their second half was horrible, but like during the whole first half, I sat there like at the 16-minute mark when there's 4 minutes left. And I was like, I think Michigan's playing as good as they possibly can right now. And this is a 2-point game. And I couldn't really process that because it felt like a game where it was like my team's shooting the lights out. Everything is on our A game, and we haven't created any separation against these guys. And then ultimately it just kept going on, and Michigan kept playing well, and St. John's like started shooting cold. But I was pretty impressed. Like that stuck with me of like, wait a second, there might be more here than I realized. Because on paper going to that game, I didn't think St. John's was anything. I thought if Michigan played their A game, they'd be up 20 immediately. So I know like Rick has a lot to figure out. He said as much in the post game, like he basically killed his team's effort and shot selection and said they're not a finished product. It's crazy. All these old dudes aren't playing for each other. I think at some point they will, and they're going to beat Towson in game one. They're going to get Wake Forest or Utah. That feels like a game to me where I am going to talk myself into betting.
Wait, you're talking about St. John's, right?
Yeah.
No, St. John's has North Texas first.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong graphic then.
Unless I'm not looking at the wrong graphic, am I?
No, let me get the bracket up. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's St. John's versus North Texas, and then Dayton versus LSU, and like the winner of those two play each other, and the losers play each other. And then on the bottom, it's Houston Towson, and then Utah Wake Forest.
Got it. I had it flipped. I had them playing Towson and Houston playing North Texas. So thank you for correcting that for me. They're going to beat North Texas, though. So I haven't changed my opinion. They're still going to win their first game. And, I mean, round two, LSU looks horrible right now, and Dayton's without Malachi Smith. So, to me, this should be a St. John's path to final. Houston's the one good team here, right? I shouldn't say good. I think St. John's could be good. I think Utah could be good. I think Wake Forest on a good day could be good. But Houston's the great team here. They should win this going away, right?
They should. But Houston St. John's would be a fun matchup. Like I feel like that's another set, like I said, another set of guards they could play, Patino versus Sampson. And just because I gotta stick up for the big men, for the people out there who are big man center lovers, the matchup that you could have in that second game in the St. John's portion will be very good because you could have Soriano, and then for Dayton, you have Deron Holmes. And for LSU, you have Will Baker, who's like 7'2". And like you said, LSU struggling. They're bad. They lost to Nicholls State already. And when again, they were down 20 points and they still got beat on a buzzer beater by Nicholls State. But could be some really good big man matchups in those games. And if there are a few sickos out there who enjoy those type of matchups, I think you would find a way to enjoy those games.
Yeah, you will. I wrote a preview. It's the first article that I wrote for Action Network that is going to come out tomorrow. of Wake Forest and Utah. I'm actually pretty excited for this game. I dove into my little like analytical preview bag, like when you do the Spartan Hoops previews, and it's an interesting matchup because Utah kind of dominates inside, like that's their thing. They got the Carlson brothers, and they're pretty balanced. Like it's good offense. They got Cole Bahama, or however you say it, but the guy that used to be at Michigan is now at Utah.
Cole Bajem from Washington?
He's leading Utah in scoring this year. Plays for Utah.
What?
Yeah, crazy. He's averaging 15 a game. He's cooking for Utah. So
wow.
I actually really like this Utah team. I think they're like sneaky top, I don't know, 4 in the Pac-12 and like probably a team that could win a tournament game. And Wake Forest is like the funnest team in the country. I love everything about them. I want to watch them. I want to bet on them. I don't think Wake Forest is actually good, like at all. And one of Wake Forest's things is like offensive rebounding. Like that's a thing that they do. And you're not going to be able to do that against Utah because Utah is just like elite at cleaning up the glass. So I have Utah covering this game from a betting perspective. For the record, you can click the article if you want to fully see it.
What's the spread on that game?
-3.5 was the number for Utah.
Well, but Utah's favored -3.5.
Yeah, it's one of those spreads where like you see the spread and you're like, oh, Wake Forest, but then you look at it more and you're like, God, this is trappy.
Yeah, it's one of those like I want to tune in and like if they're giving me like Wake Forest +7, then I'm like, ooh, want that. But at 3.5, I do like Utah.
It feels like a game you and I would be all over, text each other all day about it, and then by the first media timeout, we're down 13-2, and we're like, we just know we're cooked. Okay, so formal prediction. I have Houston, St. John's in the final. I have Houston winning.
I have the same.
Okay. I thought about being bold and going St. John's, but I restricted myself.
Yeah, no, I truly believe that that they are. But your comments are going to springboard me into going back and at least checking in on Matthew Love's ball that St. John's Michigan game. Because I just didn't see it with St. John's, but I might have just missed it just because I was locked into what Michigan was doing.
It was a lot of just made shots, and obviously like Michigan was not good defensively, but yeah, I was impressed with the shot making. They had a lot more shot making than I thought they had. So keep your eye on St. John's. That's all I would say. As the season goes on, keep your eye on them. Okay, exciting. This is the first of many tournaments we're very excited about in the next week. So we'll do a lot of preview stuff. That one was kind of quick and easy, but we'll have more in-depth stuff for Maui and the Battle for Atlantis and other tournaments as the days come by. And like I said, some surprises coming to the channel as far as how we cover some of these games, previews and recap wise, that should be really, really exciting for the growth of this channel. Show some love, click subscribe while you're there, get in the comments.